notion that you make me change my ways.
I'm Lee, and I'm a youth correspondent for mindyourmind.ca, and I'm here with Nick from Spill Canvas, and we're in Holly office in London, Ontario.
Hi. I had the feeling that you'd open up my eyes to a whole new world that has since been in disguise.
So, my first question I wanted to know is, where did the name Spill Canvas come from?
Well, that, unfortunately, as much as I want there to be like a really great story for it, it's not that there isn't. It's just more like there was, you know, there was some lyrics, like a little passage of lyrics in one of my books, you know, that I scribble in, and the band had started a long time ago when I was kind of in high school, and I didn't really want to play under just my name because I thought it was a little pretentious, and I just figured, well, let's try to find a band name for it. And you know, the Spill Canvas was this little phrase that stuck out, and it later, you know, now today it means a lot more than it did at the time to me. As you know, I like to kind of let the listener also take it for what they might think it is, whether that's like, you know, I don't know, like life is a blank canvas, blah blah blah. You know, there's a lot of little ways and avenues that you could go about it, but ultimately it was just something that I wanted to kind of let the listener have the opportunity to explore themselves. So.
One of the things that I've noticed is that you seem to be very dedicated to your fans, very like doing the music for them. So I think that's a really good thing, and I find that really admirable. But specifically, I wanted to know, what kind of things have you done as a band to solidify your fan base?
You know, I think I think the main tool that we're able to use, and something that's very easy to use, is the internet. We're very close to the internet as far as one of our main tools that we can use to, you know, to get our fans the info that they need, you know, on time, and it's so quick. It's just all right there, like literally just like that. And I think that, you know, with like your MySpace and, you know, all the other, I mean, that's just the main one that you could say, but really it just comes down to all those, you know, all those different avenues of the internet that we really like to get back to our fans, whether it's writing back messages that they would write to us. We have band email that I still check as often as humanly possible, and I don't know, I think we pay so much attention to them because it doesn't really matter what band it is. It's kind of like our speech that we give almost every show too. It's like, it doesn't matter the size of the band, whether it's U2 or some kid in a coffee house playing like his parents. You know, it ultimately comes down to the fact that it's people connecting with other people through music, and without the fans, it doesn't work. You know,
right.
So you kind of have to, if they support you, there's no reason why you shouldn't support them and be thankful to them. So I think that's our whole motto.
Right. Okay. A lot of your lyrics are pretty deep and meaningful, and a lot of them seem actually pretty personal. Are most of your songs inspired from actual events that have gone on in your lives, or just things that you see out in society today?
You know, I attempt to write the lyrics. Attempt being a key word. I just, you know, I do my best anyway, and they're a good 95% of it is very autobiographical, very inspired, just by my own life and whatever has happened to me at that time. But also, you know, not even just that, but also, you know, friends and other, you know, areas in my life that I've taken inspiration from. But ultimately, the lyrics just kind of come from just kind of that really honest spot where, you know, sometimes a lot of people, I think, might be able to relate to it because it's just, I'm just saying exactly what I think, whether that's terrible or really nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's a very candid, honest approach, but I think that's, I don't know, honesty is like that's our other motto. Our second motto.
No, I think that's a good thing, especially for a band. Like, I think it helps people connect a lot more to your music and relate to it when it's more honest and not so sugar-coated. I think when it's more raw, people can actually get in and actually relate really strongly to what's going on. You said a lot of your lyrics are all pretty honest. candid, whether other people are going to accept them or not. What do you think the importance of just being honest and embracing your emotions, whether they're good or bad, just in general?
You know, I'm a big firm believer in just in facing it as much as you can. Obviously, you're never going to be able to always face it. You know, being a human being, you're going to hide and you're going to be scared and have doubts, etc. But ultimately, you know, being honest with yourself is like such a huge deal, and it's the first step in a lot of, you know, it's the first step to getting better no matter what problem you really, you know, it's a thing that you can plug into any application in life. So I think just being honest with yourself I couldn't stress the importance of that. So
Yeah.
I think you can really learn a lot from yourself if you just give yourself a chance to say what you feel. So.
Okay. Now, as a band, you guys have obviously been away from home, like extended periods of time, going on tour and everything. Does that ever get stressful for you guys, or kind of like need some time apart and kind of just need to de-stress and unwind kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I live with Joe, our drummer, and we live in a house together. And it's a big house, so we have, you know, there's room to relax and get away from each other. But you know, you kind of not in a sad way. I mean, it's sad, but ultimately, you know, I'm living my dream. But
Yeah.
your social life goes to a place that's kind of non-existent and a little murky and dark because you're never home. You know, you're just never home. And,
Yeah.
Your friends are, you know, you have those few friends that stay with you for the course of your life, and they'll always be there when you get back home. But it's, you know, it is difficult to maintain relationships, regardless of the kind, when you're on the road. But ultimately, you know, they're good and the real people. They'll stick by your side no matter what. So I think we're all fortunate enough to have a good group of our own personal, you know, supporters, whether that's family, really close friends, you know, girlfriends, or whatever it may be. So I think we do our best.
Okay. And knowing what we do at Mind Your Mind, like dealing with kids that are going through hard times and stuff like that, what do you think the best piece of advice you could give to today's youth trying to cope with difficult times?
I mean, there's so many of those cliche things that that can be heard and still have meaning, you know, and a lot of kids that might be going through a rough time, regardless, there's so many, you know, reasons that they could be going through a rough time, whether it's like trouble at home or school or just within themselves. And you know, being a teenager it's like a scientific fact. It's hard. It's always going to be hard. It's your body's going through all these changes, and which in turn leads to, you know, your emotional frame being very fragile, you know, because it's being molded into what you would, you know, into what you're going to be as an adult. So I think, you know, the only thing you really can do is just to really just take a second and to really, you know, just breathe, and just everything's, you know, going to be okay. You just kind of have to get above whatever it is that's in your way. And there's, you know, there are roadblocks. There's always going to be a way to go around them, or to just drive right through them, basically. So, something like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Are you a firm believer in everything happens for a reason? Like, I know, like, I'm in my second year of university and things get pretty hectic, and like I'm still waiting for, like, you know, eventually everything's gonna work out and it's gonna be all for like a good cause. But are you, like, because being on the band and you were saying that maybe like you're living your dream, do you think that everything happens for a reason?
I do. I really do. There's been many times in the early stages of this when I just didn't want to do it, you know, and there's just, the odds will always be against you in some way, you know, not it to sound depressing, but whatever part of your life is going to come about. It could be, you know, as soon as you get out of high school. It could be, you know, when you're 40 or something like that. It's there's always going to be challenges. So I think that the whole everything happens for a reason. I think that that's kind of something that is very, it's one of those mantras that you should always kind of practice, because it's, you know, it's regardless of if you believe it or not, you need something to get through whatever it might be. So I think that I do personally believe in that. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
I'm sure a lot of other people will appreciate this too.
Thanks.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.